Hey, this is Marshall Plumb from Marshall's Racing. We're here today to talk to you about grip care and maintenance on your motorcycle. One of the most overlooked items on your motorcycle is the grips. It can cost you a race at any time by having the grip come off or not safety wired on properly. We're here today to show you how to take a set of grips off and put a new set back on and safety wire them and glue them properly. First step here would be having the proper tools to do it with. Tools needed to do the job that we're going to do today with the grips is safety wire, pliers, safety wire, some grips, grip glue, and some contact cleaner if needed to clean off the handlebar and throttle tube. Even a bike that is brand new, we recommend taking your grips off and gluing them. As you can see on this bike here, is they're just slid on from the factory. We're going to take an air gun, we're going to put it in behind the grip, and we're going to blow this grip off here. It just takes a little bit of work. As you can see, there might be a little bit of glue on this grip, but it's very little from the factory. Next step in this procedure would be to take some contact cleaner and a rag and clean off the surface that you're going to put the grips on, as you do have a little bit of dirt or excess glue on the handlebars. Okay, now that we have the glue off, we're going to go to the next step, which is going to be to put the grip on. Just put grip glue on the handlebar of the motorcycle. I usually try to put 2 or 3 different strips around it on the top and then do a couple on the bottom here, as you can see. Next step would be to take a little bit of grip and put it in the inside, a little bit of glue in the inside of the grip. We're going to take and squeeze the grip a little bit here, and then go to the next step, which can be dirty at times, but take the grip and slide it onto the handlebar, being careful to keep as much glue underneath the grip as possible. You have to sometimes take and work it on here real slow. If you struggle with it like we're struggling right here now, we're going to go grab a little bit of air and assist us with this. It'll make it a little bit easier to go on. As you can see how much easier it slid on this handlebar. What you need to make sure now is that the grip is actually located to where you want it to be on the handlebar. As you can see, this is about perfect right here where the ribs are, as this is a half-half Scott grip. Next step is going to be to go to the right side, do the throttle side, which you got to be a little more careful because the throttle tube does move. Okay, now we're going to go to the right side of the motorcycle and do the throttle grip. This one requires a little more attention. As you can see, the throttle has to move. You want to be careful that you get no grip in behind the throttle tube or assembly. As you're putting the grip on, as you'll see here, the glue can actually harden quicker than you think, so you have to make sure that the process actually happens fairly quick. If you struggle, then you have to resort to using a little bit of air to help get it on. We're going to now squeeze the glue onto this grip as we did onto the left side, and then we're going to take this side and slide it on, and hopefully it goes on a little bit easier. As you can see, this one here is struggling a little bit as well, so we're going to go to the air. Being careful, the nozzle you can see now that the throttle is almost all the way on. We just have to, on a Honda, you have to be careful because it actually has a little rib on the tube, and you want to make sure that the grip actually gets all the way up as close to possible to that. We'll just have to work it slowly by hand. Okay, that's this step. The next step that we're going to do now is going to be to put safety wire on it. This is an important step, as most people, when they safety wire a grip, they either have the safety wire ending up on the top or this way or to the front. We always try to keep the safety wire at the bottom of the grip where we're going to tighten it from. That way when you put your hands on the handlebar, if anything does come loose, it's not on the top part of your hand where it could cut your hand while riding. With our safety wire pliers, we're going to apply a strip of wire, which is good aircraft wire, tighten it to a point. Now we're going to cut it off, leaving just about a 1/16 of an inch left on the bottom of the handlebar grip. Now we're going to take and push this wire up into the grip to where it's hidden into the rubber of the grip, and when you put your hand on it, there's no damage from the wire. The next step would be to take another piece of wire, as it's always recommended to at least do 3 pieces, one in the middle of the grip and one on each end. This way you know for sure your grip will stay on. Again, we're going to go right to the middle here and do one more strand with the bottom of the wire being at the bottom of the grip again. Okay, now we're going to again cut this one off at about a 1/16 of an inch up and let it go into the handlebar again. Again, as you can see, there's nothing there that will cut your hand. The very next step would be to go to the end one, put one last piece of safety wire on, keeping this one as close to the end of the handlebar as possible. Okay, here we go. Now we have this side again with a 1/16 of an inch hanging down or a hair more. We'll tighten this up. Now the next step is to take all your excess wire that you have and make sure that you put it in the trash can, because people walking around or little children could step on it and it could cut their feet. Now that we have the grip safety wired and almost ready to go to the racetrack, we recommend between 15 minutes to 30 minutes before you actually ride the bike, to allow the glue to totally dry, as well as make sure that you won't have no problems with the grips coming loose. If you do the tips that we just showed you here to do your grips, you should never have a grip ever come off on your motorcycle. That is Marshall's Racing Tip of the Month.